Ryan Walter, wow, 15 seasons in the NHL. You got your name scratched on the side of the Stanley Cup. That's pretty cool. But I have to laugh when I hear you say you were drafted by Washington, and you said the only thing you learned in Washington was how to blame the ref. What's that about?
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot in Washington. I learned how to play in the NHL, and I'm so thankful. I love the players I played with there. I was captain of the team. I didn't want to get traded to Montreal, but what a blessing, to go into a winning environment. I think when you struggle at the NHL level where there's so much pressure to win, there's outlets, and the outlet at times is the referee.
Yeah.
Why do you call those on Washington and not on Montreal? Yeah. When I sort of look back, though, it is such a great principle of life, in that as soon as we give away that power, when we blame other people, we give away our power. So when we blame other people, we give away our opportunity to change.
Yeah.
And so if you blame the referee, you never focus on yourself and how you can get better.
Wow.
And I probably learned that best in Washington.
Now, 15 seasons in the NHL, you talk about the fact that there were a lot of players that you played with that were better than you and didn't make it. You did make it and spent 15 seasons. How do you process that? How do you explain that?
That's a good question. I think I give mom and dad a lot of credit, because I think the environment that you grow in, influences you long term. And I don't know, they were just sort of the type of people. Dad always coached me, mom always supported. They never complained. It was never about, well, that kid's getting more ice time, and it was much more about supporting. I'll give you a quick example. Pee Wee hockey, I score 3 of 5 goals. We win the championship in British Columbia, and I'm sitting in the back seat thinking, my folks must be pretty proud of me, right? Like a cocky little Pee Wee. Mom and dad get in the front seat, and this is my memory of it, and they turn in almost in sync, and they look back at me together and say, wow, did the team ever play well today? Like, it's always about the team.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about me.
Yeah.
So I think that type of sort of upbringing allowed me to just sort of say, okay, hey, if he can play in the NHL, I can play in the NHL, yeah. So I get beat up, but I keep coming.
Yeah.
So there's a resilient mindset that really is important if you're going to play at the highest level at anything we do, right?
Yes.
Broadcasting, whatever you do.
Yep.
And I think that's a key. I think that, growing that resilience, and you and I know that we love this idea around mindset, because I think what we look at and what we choose to look at, we get.
Tell me about, often I think it was a Duke University study a while ago that talked about almost half of the choices that we make every day are actually habits.
Yes.
Habits are a big deal. What are some of the success habits, both in hockey and outside hockey, that you credit for your success?
Oh, I might go 50% probably is low for me. I mean, it's probably way above, because
Really?
I think what we learn in the world of hockey and the world of sport is that the subconscious mind must take over. So the conscious mind is what it holds, I think, 7 thoughts at a time. And the problem with the conscious mind is we're too slow. So I'm literally thinking stick handle, skate, like it's all here. What the coolest thing about habit is when you drive it to the subconscious mind, it all happens. And it happens at huge speed, and it happens without thinking.
Wow.
So we actually in our model call that flow zone. So when we're in flow, right, we're just in the present.
Yeah.
And everything happens in the subconscious. So the habit is absolutely critical to being the best in the world, whether you're a day trader, you're a hockey player, you're a farmer.
Yeah.
Right? And so really what we do continuously, creates that subconscious neural pathway. And that pathway gets cut deeper and deeper and deeper. And so that's why some habits work. I saw a great piece here recently in a book I was reading that said, if you're going to make a new habit, the new is the key. Most of us look back at a habit and say, no, I don't want any cookies, no cookies, no cookies, no cookies. What am I talking about? Cookies.
Yeah.
So I'm burning neural pathways that says, I want more cookies, I want more cookies, I want more cookies. If you want to make a successful habit, you got to look to the future of what you want and cut pathways there. Stay focused on the thing you want.
Okay.
And so we're learning a lot about that. So think about those terms in sort of below the line, above the line. A lot of our bad habits get below the line, right?
Yep.
And good habits tend to be above the line.
Yeah. Famous author and leadership guy Jim Rohn talked about that, we are the average of the 5 closest people to us. Our attitudes, our opinions, even our income. I'd be interested to know in your life 1 or 2 of your 5 and how they impacted you.
Well, thank you. I've got such a diverse 5.
Have you?
Yeah. I would go quickly to my wife, Jenny. Oh. I mean, right away. I mean, she has such an influence on my life, and she's my best friend. We've been married 33 years, and we have 5 great kids and 3 amazing grandkids, right? So, yeah, I'd go right to Jenny. I think my folks would be right there, too. They're still a huge influence. It's not a daily influence. I mean, we have our own life to live, but I think of them often. I've got some friends that are right there. Mike Gartner, obviously, and who we played together in Washington. Yeah. I've got another friend who was a pastor and now is a very successful business guy, Garth Froese. And we get together quite a bit, and we don't, we talk about family, we talk about principles, and it's interesting now, we talk about, the importance of sort of the mind shift. Yeah. He's really focused on that in business. Yeah. I'm really focused on that in sport. So yeah, a very diverse group, and they have huge influence in my life.
Nice. So I can imagine one of the highlights in your life is winning the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
And yet your team largely won it without you.
Yes.
Tell me about how you processed that whole thing.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Like with 3 games to go in the season, I break my ankle, and I'm thinking, boy, I had a big pity party because my team is just taken off. And then they win the first round of the playoffs, best of 5 against Boston, 3-0. Then they beat Hartford, Game 7 overtime, Claude Lemieux scores, in 5 games against the Rangers, and now they're in the Stanley Cup final. First probably 10 or 12 days after I broke the ankle, I thought, I cannot believe this happened to me. And I'm having the big pity party. And really, I think the thing that's helped us figure out this mindset model is that I look back now and I see myself actually way down below the line for those first 13 days. And I don't know what happened, but boom, it sort of just hit me. Okay, enough. And I got above the line. I got focused on what I could control and literally worked out. Every time our team was on the ice, I worked out. So, I just did everything I could do. I had a cast on my leg. I couldn't do a lot there, but I worked out every single time. Had I not done that for, a month and a half, I would never have had the chance. I wouldn't have been in shape to play in a Stanley Cup final. Wow. So when I got a chance to go in and play in the last 5 games and be part of a team, at least a little bit, to win a Stanley Cup, it was special. It was pretty amazing.
Final question for you. And this is pretty fundamental stuff, but when you were drafted by Washington, secretly you were hoping it would be the Leafs, right? Is that a no?
You are a resilient guy. I told you that. Getting drafted to Washington, just seriously, was just a thrill.
Was it? Yeah.
Because you think about this, I'm a number 2 overall. Bobby Smith was number 1. I'm going to a team where I can play right away. I'm right in the NHL. That first year I made $70,000.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Like I'm thinking, right? And now there's a difference in our game right there.
Yeah.
But I was so thankful. Like I busted a knee at 16. Nobody knows this. The 2 doctors that did the operation, I hit the post hard with my knee. And the doctors that did the operation told my folks that I'd never play again. I'd never skate again. So I'm so thankful. Wow. When stuff happens in life, you get thankful. Yeah. And I think that's maybe a key principle is to find stuff in our lives that we can be thankful for. So I'm very thankful I wasn't drafted by the Leafs.
Well, I'm thankful that you took some time to chat with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Kevin.